I know I'm late to the party. I kept meaning to review this reunion and I kept forgetting. So I thought while I'm waiting for Married at First Sight Australia, might as well review the Married at First Sight UK reunion. Hey there, thanks for stopping by to go, Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight UK reunion. So the reunion starts off. You have Shauna sort of talking about the fact that she did find love. Yeah, we know she found love with one of the other husbands, but not during the experiment, but afterwards. Am I surprised she fell in love? No. She said she's quick to fall in love, so that's not shocking. You have Erica and Jordan. They're still as chaotic as ever, but they seem to get along. Erica seems to love him the way he is, and Jordan is, we know he's crazy about Erica, so I love that for them. You have Paul and Tasha. I love Paul and Tasha. I've always been a fan, regardless of the negative edits that she received during their season. They seem to be doing very well. I actually follow Paul on Twitter, so most of Tasha's posts I always see them through Paul. I follow so many people. Sadly I haven't followed them. Maybe I will one day. They seem very happy. They seem to be in a very good place. They're always posting about one another. They're always posting about their journey, like his boxing matches and stuff. Tasha's always there to support him. So it's going to be interesting to see where they stand as a couple. Tasha and Paul are the first ones to walk into the venue, followed by Laura. She's still talking about Chelsea boys, even though she's single. And it's like, well, maybe the Chelsea boys don't want you, girl. You lost a good thing in Arthur, but hey, it is what it is. Then we have Ella walking with Jay, and it's like, where are we hearing about, Ella and JJ instead of Ella and Nathaniel? That was her husband that she ended the experiment with. Where are we hearing the positive bits? The one where she got a positive spin, the fact that she's still trying to play victim and say, oh, if I had my way, I would have walked in with JJ. No, you wouldn't, because you were the one who got drunk and started yelling at him. The same things Nathaniel was complaining about are the same things JJ was complaining about. So it's nothing to do with the guys. It's you are the one that needs to do the work. So maybe you need to sit down somewhere and actually self-reflect and see where you went wrong and see how you can change that. Jay and Luke for me were one of my favorite couples. I actually had high hopes for them and I thought they were going to make it, and was sad they didn't make it because Jay obviously listened to what Erica and Jordan said, and it seems she's got a bone to pick with them. She says, Jay and her continue to talk. They're in a good space. Am I surprised? No. I think they had a couple of issues going for them in the fact that Jay came across as a people pleaser and so was trying to not upset Luke because she really liked him, but also there was the distance issue. And so I think had they found a way to sort of navigate those two, they would have worked. All they needed was couples counseling after the experiment and they would have been fine. I think Jordan tried to antagonize Luke because he knew how to push his buttons and things got out of hand, but I think they had a really good shot of actually making it work. Next, you have Peggy and George turn up. Peggy and George, for me, the only reason they stayed together was because George had money. Peggy, I think, was imagining George living in this bedsit with a bed and a sort of a workstation, and that's it. So going to his place and seeing how big it was and how fancy it was, and actually realizing that this dude has money is what did it for Peggy, in my opinion. Yes, she said he was her type, but I think she was and until she realized that, he's money, he's made, and this is why she agreed to stay married to him. And so for George to be excited that they finally had sex, okay, if that's what makes you happy, I would have thought you would have spoken about other things, but I guess given the fact that you faced a lot of sort of turmoil because people kept asking you, have you had sex, I have to give you credit then that patience paid off. Next up is Thomas and Roz. They are another couple that broke my heart because I really had high hopes for them. I thought they would actually make it, especially after they put in the work and they seem to be doing very well. And sadly, for some reason, Roz just dropped Thomas. She lost interest and she moved on. And so for him, it was heartbreaking at the time, and he decided to get his hot boy body. He got his revenge body. He looks amazing. He's very close friends with Paul, and I do see them post each other from time to time. So I think Paul must have helped him sort of get back in the gym. He says Roz was good for him because she's the only person who could get him to regain his confidence, because he was struggling when he entered the experiment, and now he's in the best place. And he actually acknowledges that the person he is now is the person that Roz wanted him to be at the beginning of the experiment. and sadly he wasn't that. The fact that he had to show off his guns was amazing, and he seems very happy and very at peace. Ross is saying that, if he wants to talk to her, she's open. If he doesn't want to, she has to respect his decision. But you can see her looking at him and eyeing him up and eyeing those muscles, and he's like, oh my god, I lost the show thing. I think they would have made a great couple. It's sad that they didn't work out, but I really loved them as a team. So next up is Matt and Shauna, and am I surprised? No, because I think I remember seeing them on a post that Paul did on Instagram. So I'm not surprised that they're dating. There were rumors, and I had seen sort of clips of them. I think they're a better match than the people they were with. The problem is Adrian kept criticizing Matt and saying, oh, she wants him to be more bubbly, more outspoken. That is not who he is. And Brad kept trying to manipulate Shauna. So now there are two people that sort of complement each other in the sense that Matt can be as quiet or as vocal as he wants to be. Shauna will accept him for who he is. Even the other participants said he looked very happy and very at peace. So I love that for the two of them. They seem relieved, they seem happy. And apparently, Shauna sent a DM to Adrian to sort of let her know that this might be a thing. So obviously she is aware. I know some of the people were pretending to be surprised, but people like Tasha, I think, knew about it. I know for a fact that Tom and Paul must have known about it. I think very few people didn't know about it, but nobody's really that surprised, and everybody can tell that they're really happy and they're at peace. It's interesting when Adrian walks in because you can tell Shauna is anxious. Matt seems indifferent. Obviously, Adrian is in her confessional is complaining about the fact that, oh, he blindsided me. And it's like you kept complaining that you wanted him to speak up. You wanted him to be more outgoing and more vocal. The one time he speaks up for himself, you feel sort of attacked and you have to storm off. And so should you be surprised that he's moved on with someone now? I think the only sad bit is someone from the experiment, so that's the bad bit, but otherwise you shouldn't be surprised that he's moved on. You didn't like him, you didn't show that you liked him. Yes, there was a sexual attraction at first, but I think over time it burnt out. And when she walks in, you can see some of the other brides sort of giving a side eye. People like Jay, people like Tasha, or even Laura and company are sort of away from her. The only people speaking to her are Roxy and Peggy, and it's like, what really happened? Tell us the truth about this, please. Next is Jordan and Erica, and Jordan and Erica are going to put lipstick on this pig and say, it's a supermodel, because they're sort of in this happy place, and they're talking about the fact that Jordan is worried that people are going to be coming for him just because they were friends with Luke, and they're not happy with everything that went down with Luke, and they're not holding Luke accountable. Luke is accountable for losing his temper, but the person who set him off was Jordan. Jordan should not have involved himself in somebody else's marriage. That's it. He can give his opinion, but then he should be able to receive other people's opinions, and we all know he's not willing to do that. So I don't know why he felt it was necessary for him to give an opinion about someone, especially when the opinion was incorrect. He sort of translated the information to suit whatever he and Erica were trying to sell to Jay. You can see Jay's uncomfortable, and then you have Laura sort of talking about the fact that after the sort of final vows, they sort of lived in her house for a month, and it's like, why were they living in your house for a month? Why didn't they go and stay with Jordan's mom? Or why didn't they get an Airbnb? Why was it necessary for them to move in with you? Am I surprised that she says they're always fighting? No, their communication styles are very different. And the fact that Jordan is very obsessive, once he's got an idea in his head, it's very difficult for him to let it go. So am I surprised that they argue? No. They need to learn to communicate with one another, and that can only come through therapy. So it depends on whether or not they're willing to do the work and they're actually willing to go to therapy. I remember during the season, I kept saying I don't like the friendship between Andrea and I remember during the season saying I don't like the friendship between Erica and Adrian because they don't hold each other accountable, and they're not willing to learn or to sort of discuss and have an unbiased opinion. And so seeing them talk about the fact that Shauna and Matt are dating, I didn't like that. They broke up. She said she didn't like him. Adrian should move on. She shouldn't have any opinion. Yes, her feelings might be hurt that he's moved on faster than she has, but at the end of the day, she didn't appreciate him. She didn't like him, regardless of the fact that he really liked her. So it is what it is. Thomas feels some type of way, and the problem with Thomas and Ross is communication was always their struggle because he feels like she's ignoring him. She feels like she's giving him his space and is waiting for him to sort of approach her. And it's like, well, somebody needs to make the first move. Somebody needs to make the first move. They're then given books which have memories, of their road to where they are. And you have Tasha and Paul sort of saying, we appreciate our journey. We were on the right road and it shows by where we are right now. And I think they were one of the perfect matches in the sense that Tasha, though she's fiery, she was matched with an amazing guy who has the patience of a saint. So he was able to be patient and sort of allow her to grow into herself, and then they could sort of move on as a couple, and they seem to be doing really great. Which I love for them. You have Shauna talk about her couple with Brad, and the fact that he was a master manipulator. Brad, he was. The way he treated her was wrong, and I'm happy that the experts were brave enough or were honest enough to say, no, this is not who we want to be, and this is not what we want to be associated with, so you need to go home. I wish Married at First Sight Australia would do the same and send Jack home, but that's a story for another day. Finally, Jay got to speak her piece, and she got to stand up for herself, and she got to stand up for her ex. Because at the end of the day, the way Jordan and Erica made it seem, it's like, Luke said, he's going to cheat on you because you are a walkover. And yet he said, if she was. And for her to have watched it and to actually reiterate what he said, and Jordan still want to speak up and argue and have to be told by his wife that you need to pipe down and allow her to speak. I don't get what he's getting wrong, because now he's upset. Oh, you're not supporting me. No, at times you need to listen to hear what other people are saying. I always say this, that you need to listen to understand and not listen to respond. There's a difference. When you listen to respond, you're just looking for things that you want to pick up on and you want to give an answer back. When you listen to understand, you're going to listen, you're going to digest, you're going to reflect, and then you're going to give a response that's appropriate, which is what Jay was saying, that the problem with Jordan is he likes to give opinions, but he can't stop and reflect. And she said they are similar with Luke, and that's why they were butting heads, which everybody knows they were similar, and everybody else was uncomfortable. You could tell Laura has seen this play before, when Erica and Jordan started having a go at one another and was already looking for the nearest exit. These participants can never find peace, because you have Erica storm off because she's upset with Jordan because she feels like he's attacked her when she was trying to sort of protect him and make sure that he didn't come across as the bad guy in the sort of situation with Jay, just because his beef is with Luke and not with Jay. And you have Laura sort of trying to speak to Jordan to find out what's going on, because Erica has stormed off, and he starts talking about the fact that, people only see us on camera when we're stressed, otherwise we're not. And Laura was like, I lived with you guys, so I know I've seen you on camera and I've seen you off camera. And before she even finished explaining herself, he cut her off. And this is a habit with Jordan. He always wants to be correct, and if someone says anything that deviates from what he wants, I know he's got ADHD if I'm not mistaken, he then becomes possessive on the fact that he wants to be right, and he wants people not to say anything else that sort of deviates from what he thinks. Even you had Ella sort of saying, you haven't given Laura a chance to finish what she was going to say. You're already responding. And this again is what I mean by he listens to respond. He doesn't listen to understand. So they decide to go around the table and ask everybody what they appreciate about their time in the experiment. And you have Matt sort of appreciating Adrian and their journey and all the ups and downs that they went through. And you could see she was happy for that. And then when he brought in the fact that he's also happy that he's met Shauna and things seem to be going great, you could see her face drop. And it's like, he's wished you all the best. He said all the positive things you could think of. What else do you want from him, really? What else do you want from him? You have Roz. Roz is, I don't know where she stands, because she's asked and she said, our wedding, we're very awkward, but anyway, first of all she says leaving, and then she says our wedding, and it's like, you could have said something else. Because Thomas is in his feelings, because he feels like you're ignoring him and you're only focused on other people. You feel like you're respecting his personal space. I feel like the two of them should have sat down somewhere, had a conversation, and sort of understood where they stand, whether they want to give things a go or whether they want to move on and just ignore that. You have, Jordan and Erica have decided they're not going to speak because they're feeling some type of way, and it's like, whoop-de-doo. If anyone says they're surprised by the Roz and Thomas fallout, then they're lying. You could tell it was coming. You could see it coming a mile away, that they were going to clash, they were going to butt heads, and I'm not surprised that they did, in the sense that yes, Ross is saying that she broke things off with Thomas as soon as she realized that she wasn't going to be able to go down that road with him. But at the end of the day, he feels some type of way. She has to respect that. You can't expect him to move at the same pace you're moving. I feel like the two of them, as I said before, as soon as they walked into the venue and they saw each other, they should have taken each other aside and had just a swift conversation, a check in. Hi, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? I'm fine. Um, are you okay being here with me? Yes. Are you okay being here with me? Yes. Okay. So what shall we do? Shall we present a united front, or do you want to be on your own? Okay, let's decide. And that would have saved them this whole hassle, because now Ross is crying that, oh, Thomas is punishing me. He's not punishing you. The problem is that two of you haven't said, yes, you told each other that this wasn't moving forward, and he now understands it, but you didn't give each other guidelines. You didn't give each other guidelines on how you'd function in social settings if you ever were in the same place together. So this is where your problem is, and I hope the girls are going to be honest with her. I know they were telling her that you have moved on, but Thomas hasn't moved on. It's to be expected. People grow feelings at different rates, and people's feelings also die down at different rates. So she can't expect him to move on the same way she moved on, and she just have to take that and just bear it. Jordan and Erica, I don't know how they live together. Well, Erica is saying that they have these explosive arguments and then they're good, and then they have another explosive argument. And it's like, but that's not healthy, though. That's what Laura is saying, that it's not healthy. They need to go to therapy if they want to stay together. The fact that Laura told her that there's so many billion people in the world and half of them are men, go and find yourself someone else. And it's like, oh my God, when Jordan sees this, he's going to explode. I think there's no good feelings between Laura and Jordan, because Jordan was one of the people that criticized Laura, so she still feels some type of way, although her opinion might be honest. I love the fact that even in their arguments, you have Erica still defending Jordan. I like that the guys were able to sort of pull him aside when things was sort of becoming very explosive, and sort of try to calm him down and cool him down. I think he needs to see someone, as Erica said. He needs to see someone, and he really needs to work on his communication, because his communication style is very toxic and it's very unhealthy. And if he's not careful, he's going to lose Erica. I don't know how much longer Erica can put up with this. She seems to be really in love with this guy, and I think this is why she puts up with his mess. As all the other girls have said, if it were them, they would have moved on. I get where she's coming from when she says, he came here thinking everyone was going to attack him, and me being on sort of what appeared to him to be Jay's side, he just took it as everyone turning against him, and me, myself included in that. And it's like, oh my God. Take a moment, take a breath, and learn on your communication style if the two of you want to stay together. Otherwise, move on, as everyone else is saying. Rosa and Thomas were able to squash their beef, which I liked, in the sense that they were able to sit down and actually sort of understand that there's no going back. They're never going to be a thing. And so it's okay for them to move on. It's going to take Thomas a little while longer, because Rose was already on the way out the door anyway. So I hope they continue to work. I think Thomas is dating someone else, he said already. So good luck to him. They received the honesty box. Ella is the first one to go, and are we surprised? Is anyone surprised with her question? No. She's asked who else would she have preferred to have been matched with at the table, and it's like, why? Why? Why do we keep asking this question? This is how she ended up with JJ. She says, oh, I wish I'd been matched with JJ right from the start. But anyway, I would say George, because he makes me laugh. And you can see Peggy's thinking, stay away from my man, stay away from my man. And it's like, yeah, she gave good reasons. And then she said, if it was to sleep with someone, then she pointed at Paul. We know she's very good friends with Tasha, so that was just a joke. And then, you have Ross ask Thomas, if you were to be given a second option, or if you had to do it again, would you have gone through the experiment? And he said, yes, I think he's a better version of himself. He knows himself better. He's self-aware. He's emotionally stable. He's physically fit. He's really grown as a person. So I get where he's coming from. I think people were anxious that he was going to say, no, I wouldn't have done it. But he acknowledges that, yes, he left heartbroken, but he's the best version of himself that he could have been. And he thought he was the best version when he entered, but he actually is a better version of that now. So that's amazing. For Jay, she's asked, what has the experiment done for you? Or what has, what have you learned about yourself? And she's right to say she's learned to love herself, because I remember at the start she shared that at school she used to be bullied and people used to throw her in the bin because obviously of her missing limb. And so for her to meet someone, he had this false look, but he never hid the fact that he was attracted to his wife. He really loved her and really, thought the world of her. So the fact that they were able to grow whatever they had was amazing. I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her. I don't appreciate the look that, what's his name? Jordan gave her when she said, I appreciate look. It's like, what business of yours is it? At the end of the day, it's these two people. Did they develop feelings for one another? Did they grow? Your opinion doesn't matter, really. It doesn't really matter. So you can keep it to yourself. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. And I don't get how he expects Erica to fight for him, and yet he won't accept, Jay sticking up for Luke. And it's like, make it make sense. Make your argument make sense. Tasha and Paul, people overreacted. Now they had Paul embarrassed because Paul brought Tasha a present. She said she appreciated meeting Paul and their journey and how they've grown. And he brought this, this little gift for her, and everybody assumed it was a ring, and it was just a keychain. And it's like, Paul, the grand gesture, you should have given that at home. But it makes sense that he doesn't want to, if the marriage is not legal, he doesn't want to propose to her in front of everyone. He wants to do it in some way, maybe with his family, and where it's just personal to them. So I give him credit for that. In any given situation, I would dispute what Jordan was saying, but sadly, I don't think Erica and Adrian are a good match as friends. I think they sort of support each other's crazy or support each other's toxicity. And so, the way he did it was wrong in the sense that he was snickering when Adrian was talking about the fact that the best thing to come out of the experiment was her meeting Erica and becoming close friends. I think she should have done the same thing that Matt did. She should have appreciated Matt first, and then she should have talked about her friendship. And so, yes, it was lost in the moment because people started arguing with Jordan, because Jordan always wants his opinion to be heard. I don't know whether he struggled as a young man to have his voice heard. And so now he always wants to make sure everybody hears him and understands him. And that's why he's always at loggerheads with people. You had everyone trying to sort of calm him down. And you had Jay telling him, no one wants you here. And it's like, Jay, where did the voice come from? And it took Thomas yelling at everyone, and everyone was taken aback because they didn't expect it. But at the same time, I appreciate that he now has his voice, he now has self-love, he now knows his worth, and is able to take that on into his next relationship. I think they said he was dating or something, I don't know. So it was good to see the growth, and everyone laughed hysterically because they couldn't believe that the quietest person in the group was actually swearing and screaming and shouting because he was really that mad. And so that was cute to see. They did, the ritual at the fire. Shauna was always going to lead that anyway, because that's her sort of thing, and they were burning and sort of speaking into existence what they look for into their future. So I wish them all the best. I can't wait to see what happens, in the near future. I think the only couple I would be interested in following is Tasha and Paul. Peggy and George, I don't know. That is something that, I don't know. Maybe with time it will grow on me, but not at the moment, and it never did during the experiment, so I can't lie. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my playlist from season 8 at Married at First Sight UK. Bye guys.